Hey, welcome to Shockerland. I'm Billy with Kyle, and we're glad you guys are joining us for another episode talking Wichita State men's basketball. We're going to do past, present, future for what the Shockers have been going on this season. We're going to talk a little bit of Maui Invitational, what the Shockers did just before Thanksgiving on the road in Hawaii. Talk a little bit about this Savannah State game that just happened and what we can learn from there. And then look ahead to some really exciting non-conference basketball games against some really good opponents. It should be really good quality basketball coming up and really a challenge, some tests. So excited about that, and then we'll maybe dive into some other fun things as well. But Kyle, how's it going? Welcome. Have a good Thanksgiving.
I did, yeah,
All
fantastic.
Right, good deal.
You? Anything exciting or new happen?
A little bit. Did not get any real turkey, Thanksgiving dinner traditionally. Had a baby. Or my wife had a baby. So this is the first time I've been, this is the nicest dress I've been in a while. We'll say that.
That's great.
But thanks.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
A future Shocker fan.
Future Shocker fan. Oh yeah, no doubt. And she was a little girl. She was born as the Shockers were playing Notre Dame. So her first taste, she didn't realize it, was a close loss. But we'll get to that. Let's dive right in. So here we go. This Maui Invitational. I don't want to go game by game. People who saw the games and were able to watch it mostly, and they know the Shockers reached the championship game but then lost by 1 point to Notre Dame. Here's what I want to know. Here's what I've been thinking of. Okay, so this tournament, you go away. You're on national television in a time when people are watching basketball at home, over the holidays, kind of thing. So what was this? What would you call this effort? This 2-1, reach the championship game and lose. Is this mission accomplished? Is it missed opportunity, or is it a setback for the program? What do you see as going there, losing in the championship game?
I think it's a missed opportunity.
Okay.
It's they were so close to winning the whole thing, going 3-0, beating Notre Dame. They struggled against the zone defense the second half, which I think we'll talk about a little later. Yeah. And it just, going forward, they're going to regret not doing the little things, excuse me, at the end of the game to win that. But honestly, without Marcus McDuffie, going 2-1 is what I personally expected them to do.
Yeah. Especially with that. And so you've got a guy who's out. You're playing 3 games in 3 days, so it's even more difficult if you have a shorter bench or some players who aren't there. It's tough for me to say missed opportunity because you lost to what is now the number 5 team in the nation in Notre Dame. There's no shame in that.
No,
and if you remember in a previous podcast, I said what happens now really doesn't matter, and I'm sticking with that.
You did say that.
It doesn't matter. Now, of course, Shocker fans want the Shockers to win, but it doesn't matter because you lose now, and you have all these ranked teams you're going to play, all these good quality teams you're going to play in the conference schedule, and even in good non-conference games coming up. You can make up a loss. You don't want a bad loss. You don't want to lose to Savannah State. You don't want to lose to the teams you're supposed to beat. But these close ones. Last year they lost in that Thanksgiving tournament they were in, I think the Bahamas, and that hurt because they didn't play anybody the rest of the season. They played a Missouri Valley Conference, which was terrible. So it mattered. It doesn't matter this year. It mattered last year. It doesn't matter this year. They can make it up as they go along if they lose. They lost this one. No shame in that. So yeah, I can see how you say missed opportunity. But for me, I'd say mission accomplished. You got the experience you wanted in a tournament, and you come back and a little bit stronger. So,
and hopefully this team is mentally prepared now for the big games on the big stage. They can learn from the loss, what they did wrong, and like you said, move forward.
So here's what I think the Shockers are learning, and that's a nice way to put it. I think as we talk about Savannah State now, and this game that they won, and they won easily, and they scored a bunch of points. And everybody, it's one of those games you look at the final score and you say, oh, blowout. Didn't even have to watch it. Who cares? But there were some red flags or some concerns in Savannah State. And to me, it wasn't a surprise. I don't think it was a surprise to you either, because it was the same red flags that we saw at the Maui Invitational and even games before then. This zone defense. that teams are now throwing at the Shockers. What do you think about this?
I'd like to say if Greg Marshall is Superman,
Okay.
zone defenses are his kryptonite.
Ooh, that's a good reference.
And if you look back the previous 2-3 years, this team has just struggled against zone defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And it baffles me because we have great perimeter shooters. We typically have great post guys who can feed the ball to him.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it doesn't click, and there's no flow, and the ball just stops, and
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
This is not the first. The Shockers are not the first quality team to struggle against a zone defense, and here's one reason why. Good teams play man to man. The good programs play man to man.
Most
generally,
yes.
I mean, there was a while there in the NBA you were not allowed to play zone defense. It was only man to man. Good teams just play man to man. Now you can do a type of zone in the NBA now, but they still don't do it that much because good teams play zone. You match up. I can guard you. You guard me. Let's see. That's basketball. But the teams that know that they're at a disadvantage if they match up my 5 against your 5, and you're at a disadvantage, okay, you go to a zone. You try to mix some things up. And that's what we have seen teams do against the Shockers, and it has not gone well for Wichita State.
Not for the most part. And
Yeah.
if you're an opponent on Wichita State's schedule going forward, you have to look at these previous games and think, okay, we have to do a zone against Wichita State. And I think the Shockers can figure out a way to score more efficiently, but it's going to be a challenge.
Well, they better.
Yeah,
they better because
they'll have no choice.
It's just what you said. American Conference coaches are out there saying, okay, I don't know much about Wichita State. We haven't played them. But they're going to play them now in this conference. And they're looking at these teams, and they're seeing Savannah State. Like I said, you look at the box score, Shockers
Right.
112-66.
It ended up great.
Blowout. It was fine. But
the first few minutes,
for
though,
10 minutes in, the Shockers
little
are
frightening.
losing to Savannah State. That's not okay. And yes, Savannah State was like street ball where you just throw up threes or YMCA ball. Open gym at my church on Sunday nights. That's what you do. You throw up threes. And they were doing that, and every once in a while they would catch fire and they'd hit 4 or 5 in a row. And there could be a big surge that way. But if Savannah State can do it and can build and can grab the lead for at least 10 to 15 minutes against Wichita State, yikes! What happens if Cincinnati tries that?
Right.
What happens if UConn tries that? What happens if some of these quality teams in the American Conference not only learn how to employ a zone defense, but have the athletes then to really give Wichita State some trouble? That's the concern. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean it's concerning. And you talked about the American Conference. A team like UCF has I think last year they had a top 25 defense. They have a 7'6" guy named Taco Fall who anchors the interior of the paint. And if they do a zone defense against WSU with a 7'6" guy,
Yeah.
I mean that could be hugely problematic.
Here's why, and I think here's why good teams struggle, including the Shockers. With a zone defense, there's 2 ways to beat it. Okay, 2 ways to beat a zone defense. We're going to zone defense 101 here. I need a clipboard or something. Two ways to beat a zone defense. One is in a very structured half-court set. You pass the ball around. You look for that extra pass. You see the announcers talk about that extra pass where you could take a contested shot, or you can make one more pass around the perimeter and get a wide open shot. So you want to swing the ball around very quickly, make good, solid, quick passes, and then you got to hit shots. You got to make those shots, especially from the outside. The Shockers can do that. They have the guys to do that.
They have the ingredients.
Okay? They did not as much do that against Savannah State. They used the other way, and here's the other way. You push the ball so quickly and so fast up the court that the other team doesn't have time to get in a zone defense.
Right.
And enter Samaje Haynes-Jones, okay? Maybe one of the fastest, maybe the fastest guy on the team.
He is so fast, so quick. I mean, he's like lightning in a bottle just watching him. I mean, he was impressive last night.
31 points. And Kyle has already held me accountable to this. I am a guy who has not been big on Samaje, and not to say I don't think he's good. He is talented, and we saw that. I've just questioned how does he fit within a Greg Marshall system, which I'm still wondering that. I'm still trying to figure that out because the way he got his 31 points, which was amazing, he did a great job, is he was faster than other guys in transition. Now he hit some threes too, and he did a good job. But he's real quick. He even has that little Euro step that he can go to. But he's going to blow by the offense. Now, whether teams go man to man or force Wichita State into the more half court sets, I still want to see, can Samaje be a part of a full team effort on running an offense, running say a motion offense, something like that. And we didn't see that in the Savannah State game because they didn't need it. No. They needed what Samaje gave them. So great job. Game ball goes to him. Player of the week in the American Conference probably. 31 points. That was really impressive.
And this was only the fourth time in the Greg Marshall era here at Wichita State that a Shocker has scored over 30 points.
Wow.
So that's some pretty elite company he's in, and he did it all last night.
Looked pretty good.
Yes.
Looked pretty good in that game.
And like you said, he has some things he has to work on too.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. But I've seen that quickness from him. I've seen that playmaking ability. And last night he just put it all together.
We saw some other things. What else did we see from that game? CJ came in as another guard.
Yeah. CJ Kaiser.
CJ Kaiser. And he struggled as well, I think, on that zone, on moving the ball and figuring that out. They did figure it out. But that's something these guys, the backcourt has to learn how to do, because in his own defense, Shaq is double or triple teamed underneath. Daryl Willis has to figure out how to run that baseline and how to do that. So there's still some things, but overall, what did you see out of that Savannah State game?
Overall, it was impressive.
Yeah.
It really was. Savannah State is not a great team. Mm-hmm. I believe they're ranked 350 or 331st on KenPom, and there are only 351 teams. So this isn't the cream of the crop we're talking about.
The Cleveland Browns of college basketball, yes. Yeah.
So, but still, win's a win, and winning by 40 plus is amazing, no matter how you look at it.
And let me say this about Samaje. Don't expect Samaje to come out and do 31 again against Baylor or against even South Dakota State. Because, here's why. Did you catch what Greg Marshall said after the game? And they asked him about Samaje and how he did. Greg Marshall said, it's almost like he was back in the City League, because he's from Wichita. He's back playing in those City League games, and that's where you saw him shine. Good compliment, good comment, and it's true, because Savannah State's the City League opponent. It's not to kick a guy when he's down or kick a program when they're down, but Samaje could score 31 because he was just better. He was just better than every other guy on that team. A team that just went down and shot three-pointers from 30 feet away and hoped they went in and had no shot at a rebound, because we had Shaq and Daryl and a bunch of other guys getting rebounds. So I thought that was a funny quote. It was like he's back in the City League because it was a City League opponent, basically. Heights can go 112 to 66 on the Shockers. At the very least. So
I would like to see that.
That would be fun. I would love to see the City League champion play Wichita State. Can you imagine how many NCAA violations there would be in that game?
Just doing those exhibition games for charity,
Everybody is in violation. Everybody's suspended there. So let's look ahead a little bit.
Okay.
Man, we've got some fun, quality non-conference games coming up, starting with Baylor this weekend. This is a challenge. I have not looked to see if who's the favorite in this one, but it could be a coin flip. Who you got? What do you think?
I think it's up in the air.
Yeah.
It depends on injuries, because if you watch the Savannah State game, Landry Shamet rolled his ankle apparently.
Man, that looked bad.
Thankfully, it doesn't appear to be anything related to his reconstructed foot, which he had surgery on this offseason. Fran Camp missed a few minutes with an injury. Mm-hmm. Samaje got hit in the mouth, had to leave for a little bit, and Zach Brown missed the entirety of the game with a tweaked knee. And so I think he was going to have an MRI today. So we don't know exactly the extent of that injury. But if for some reason Shamet or Brown can't go, I don't know how Baylor would win that game.
We've talked about the depth of Wichita State and how they can bring Samaje off the bench, or some other guys off the bench. Austin Reeves comes in and he had a great game as well. Hit a bunch of threes against Savannah State. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist here. Is there something systemic that is? Why are all these injuries happening to the Shockers? Injuries have happened to other teams and even in the conference.
Yes.
But this is a lot. These are a lot of injuries to key players. Are they playing too much? Is it too much competition too soon? Is it just too different? Or is it just coincidence? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. What's going on here, though?
I know the Shockers practice probably harder than any team in the nation. Okay. And a lot of these injuries have occurred in practice just throughout the last few years. But, I mean, if you look at that game last night, at one point, Shamet, McDuffie, Brown, and Frankamp were all out with injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, we had our B team out there for a while, and we were still kicking tail, but it's concerning. I don't know if there's some logical reason behind all these injuries, but if
thank goodness it was Savannah State, because if that's Baylor, then we're having a different discussion on what the record is for the Shockers.
For sure.
You know, they've got to get healthy. Keep in mind, just my thought, it doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter at this point in the season.
Eventually, these games are going to matter.
The games are going to have to matter. Yes, if you go,
because the Shockers are going to run out of quality wins in the
quality
conference.
Opponents. Yeah, for sure.
So if they were to lose to Baylor, they'd have Oklahoma and maybe Oklahoma State, if that's a quality win or not, coming up, and that's really it. The non-con. So
that's true. Yeah, you
hopefully
got to
Shamet can play.
Yeah, so far so good. I think where the Shockers are right now is good.
Yes.
Having lost the number 5 team in the nation, that's fine. Going to be tough to be a number 1 seed or ranked number 1 in the season now.
It could happen.
To recall your bold prediction. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. It's it's still early in the season, and the Shockers are where they want to be. Generally speaking, would have been nice to beat Notre Dame, but to have one loss, to be ranked in the top 10, things are looking good for the Shockers. But now they have to step up in the spotlight with these big games coming up. What else? Anything? I had a question. I want to throw this out. We got some time. And I thought about this as I was watching a little bit of college football over the weekend. Michigan and Ohio State played, and Auburn and Alabama played. And college football has these amazing rivalries. And these exist also in college basketball, North Carolina and Duke playing each other, Kentucky, Louisville. Wichita State, who's their rival? Who is Wichita State's rival, or do they have one at all?
They don't have a current rival.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Is that a problem? Is that?
Well, they'll find one. I guarantee that. Because for so many years it was Tulsa, when Tulsa was in the Missouri Valley.
Yeah.
Then they left, and Creighton became the rival. Mm-hmm. Then Creighton left, and then the last few years it was kind of Northern Iowa, Illinois State, maybe.
Whoever's good
if
in the
they're
Missouri
relevant
Valley
that year.
Yeah.
Now going forward, Tulsa's still the closest team. They're in the same conference now. Tulsa, I'd say SMU and Cincinnati would all be candidates for being, fierce rivals going forward.
Yeah. I would think, especially in this day, the proximity doesn't matter nearly as much as it once did for rivalry.
Yes and no.
The bigger the program, you think about football. Big rivalries. What do you have? The teams that are in the NFL and the NFC. NFC East, it's the
Dallas,
Cowboys and Redskins, and they're not close.
No,
but they play each other enough.
So much history between those.
Yeah, exactly. Or the New England Patriots and then the Miami Dolphins back when they were good. That was quite a thing. Or the New York Jets. The Shockers don't have a rival, and part of me thinks we're missing out. The Shockers fans are missing out on that, not having a rival. But I don't know if you can manufacture one in 2017. How that would work, just because Tulsa happens to be kind of close. I laid out a scenario. If Wichita State plays at Tulsa and half the arena is Shockers fans, because they all, the Shockers travel well, then the next time Tulsa plays in Wichita, maybe those Tulsa fans want to come in and try to do the same thing. And
I doubt that.
Maybe a rivalry starts up. I don't know.
It could be.
The only way to do that, the only way other opposing fans can come into Coke Arena is to spend a whole lot of money
Yes.
On the secondary market buying tickets, and no one's going to do that. So I don't know. It would take something like getting into a fight with UConn, or on the court, and it gets dirty and ugly, and people just don't like you because you beat up on our team or something like that. How do you manufacture a rivalry in 2017?
It just takes time, I think, and like you said, it could be a fight breaks out, or it could be two fierce games between the Shockers and Cincinnati. It just, I mean, if you look at Creighton, they left the Missouri Valley, they're in the Big East now. They don't really have a rival right now.
Yeah.
And they've been in that conference for, I think this is their 4th year.
Yeah.
It could be Butler because they're kind of close, but really they haven't found anyone yet.
You know who could be a great rivalry? The Kansas Jayhawks. Wouldn't that be a great rivalry?
Talk to Bill Self.
If they actually played, they're a rival, and they might. They might be the number one. They may be the rivals of Wichita State. They may fit that description more than anyone else. Problem is they don't play.
That's the sad part.
If
you look at Louisville and Kentucky, 2 different conferences.
It might be Kentucky. Kentucky might be the biggest rivalry because we actually play them. Thank you.
We'll probably be in the same side of the bracket this year again with Kentucky.
We'll see in that 7-10 matchup.
Oh no.
Okay, and let's transition to that too, because there's a question. Way too early to predict NCAA tournament seeding and that kind of thing, but that's what you do on a podcast where we're filling time in late November. Where would the Shockers be now if they were seeded? Are we talking? We're talking better than a 7 seed, right?
Right now.
10 seed, yeah, right now.
I'm always optimistic, and I'm always off a seed line or 2. But
Yeah.
I'd say a 3 or 4 right now.
3 seed, 4 seed, okay. Yeah,
just based on their ranking, on their Ken Palm numbers, which the committee hasn't really used before, but in theory they're supposed to use those analytical numbers more and more.
Yeah. As of right now, they need some more quality wins.
Yes.
I mean, they did all right in Maui.
The games that don't matter.
Yes, the games that don't matter.
They need to win some of them.
Okay, that's fair. but yes, eventually, as you play the whole season out, they're going to have a bigger picture of it. But right now, I think they're sitting fine. There's nothing to worry about. There's no big glaring concerns. They'll figure out how to play a zone defense, which is not difficult. It's just teaching the guys to do it.
Yes.
And getting ready. And now they have film on it. They have Notre Dame running a zone. They have Savannah State. Nah, throw that film away.
Yeah, don't look at that.
They have some other ones running a zone.
And Baylor should be in a zone on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they'll have more tape on that.
So it's just figuring out. Greg Marshall's got to do this. His staff has to do this. Figure out how you want to beat that zone. Do you want to turn Samaje loose and let them run all over it, and so they can't set up the zone, or do you want to be disciplined and make sure Darrell Willis knows when you get that ball on the baseline, you can make one more pass out to Austin Reeves for a 3, or when Nerger gets it, Nerger, don't shoot a 3 from the baseline. That's not your play. And I love it. And Nerger and Shaq and a few of the others have those big guys.
They can make them.
They can make, especially from the top of the key, and then they turn to the bench and they hold up the 3 signs, and it's so great. But if that's your game plan, that's not what Shocker fans want to see. That's icing on the cake. That's not the cake. Okay.
Some of us just like icing.
Oh well, that's a good point, man. You knocked down that analogy real quickly, didn't you? But it is. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You maybe want to get that 3 times a game and hope they hit 1 or 2, but
no more than that.
I want to see Connor shoot it. I want to see Austin Reeves shoot it. I want to see Landry Shamet have that shot. Samaje can hit him. Looking for that extra pass.
The key is they have to get open though.
They do. They have to get open. You got to find.
And that's why you got to feed the post.
Yeah.
Defense collapse. You kick it out. Hopefully get an open look.
And the hope then is once you start hitting those shots, it stretches that zone defense. And guess what? Nerger, Shaq, you're going to have wide open shots from the elbow. You're going to have some wide open looks because that defense is going to get stretched out. But that takes patience. It takes time over the course of an entire half to establish that outside game and then work it inside. In Greg Marshall, we trust, so to speak. So we'll see about that. Anything else we want to do before we wrap things up on our third Shockerland episode.
Episode 3.
Yeah. I think we're good. If you want to interact with us, we are on Twitter at Shockerland. If you've got questions you want to answered about the Shockers or any thoughts or opinions, do you like icing or do you like cake? Because I got to be honest with you, I'm a cake guy. Give me that funfetti. Ice cream. Oh, come on! Out of the box. Oh,
You
so
always
good.
got to go for the corner piece with
So
the extra
good.
icing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that. Icing is fine, but man, that funfetti, that's good stuff. Maybe get some ice cream in there too. Are you an ice cream guy, or are you a cake guy or an icing guy? Or any kind of similar questions? We'll break those down. We have opinions, folks. We'll do this all day long. At Shockerland on Twitter, Shockerland our Facebook page. And then, of course, Shockerland.com for all our stories, podcasts, and video episodes as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.